The bald eagle, a symbol of freedom, a national icon, and once a species on the brink of extinction. Today, the bald eagle stands as one of America's greatest conservation success stories, but its road to recovery was long, difficult, and filled with lessons about how humans can both harm and save the natural world. In this video, we'll explore how the bald eagle came to need conservation, the history of efforts to protect it, where things stand today, and what the future holds. At the time the United States adopted the bald eagle as its national emblem in 1782, hundreds of thousands of these birds lived across North America. But by the mid-20th century, their numbers had collapsed. Three main threats drove the decline: hunting and persecution. Early settlers and farmers often saw bald eagles as competition for fish and game. Some even considered them pests that threatened livestock. Eagles were shot, trapped, and poisoned by the thousands. Habitat loss. As America expanded, wetlands were drained, forests cut, and rivers altered. Eagles depend on large territories with access to water and nesting trees. Each loss of habitat meant fewer places for them to survive and reproduce. DDT and chemical pollution. Perhaps the most devastating blow came from the widespread use of the pesticide DDT after World War II. Eagles absorbed the chemical through the fish they ate. DDT weakened their eggshells, causing them to break during incubation. The result, entire generations failed to hatch. By the early 1960s, bald eagle populations in the lower 48 states had plummeted to fewer than 500 nesting pairs. America's national bird was on the verge of disappearing from much of the country. The first real step toward saving the bald eagle came in 1940 with the passage of the Bald Eagle Protection Act. This law made it illegal to kill, sell, or possess bald eagles or their eggs. But the law alone wasn't enough, because the chemical threat of DDT hadn't yet emerged. As eagle numbers continued to fall through the 1950s and 60s, public concern grew. In 1962, the Bald Eagle Protection Act was expanded to also cover the golden eagle, increasing federal protections for eagles. But the most critical turning point came thanks to a book, Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, published in 1962. Carson's work exposed the dangers of DDT not just to birds but to entire ecosystems. Public pressure mounted, and by 1972, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency banned DDT for agricultural use. At the same time, the environmental movement gained momentum. In 1973, the Endangered Species Act was passed, giving bald eagles the highest level of federal protection. They were officially listed as endangered throughout most of the country. These measures created a legal framework for conservation, but laws alone couldn't save the species. Hands-on recovery efforts would be needed. To save the bald eagle, these hands-on recovery efforts required coordinated action across government agencies, scientists, and local communities. Key strategies included captive breeding and release. In the 1970s and 80s, programs bred bald eagles in captivity and released them into areas where populations had vanished. Young eagles were also relocated from healthy populations, a process called hacking, to jumpstart breeding in depleted regions. Nest protection. Biologists monitored nests, built artificial platforms, and guarded eggs from disturbance. Volunteers often played a huge role keeping watch over nesting sites. Habitat protection. New laws and land management practices protected wetlands and forests critical for eagle survival. The Clean Water Act and other regulations help restore water quality, ensuring a steady supply of healthy fish for eagles to eat. Public engagement. Conservationists launched campaigns to educate the public, turning the bald eagle into a symbol not just of the nation, but of environmental responsibility. By the 1990s, these efforts were paying off. Eagle populations began to rebound. The bald eagle's recovery to where it is today is nothing short of remarkable. To put this into perspective, in 1963, there were only 417 known nesting pairs in the entire lower 48 states. By 2007, that number had climbed to nearly 10,000. Today, according to U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service estimates, there are more than 316,000 individual bald eagles in the contiguous U.S., including over 70,000 breeding pairs. This resurgence led to a milestone moment. In 2007, the bald eagle was officially removed from the federal endangered species list. It remains protected under the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act and the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, but it is no longer considered threatened or endangered. The eagle's comeback has become one of the greatest wildlife recovery stories in American history. While the bald eagle is no longer endangered, its survival is not guaranteed. Challenges still loom large. Perhaps the most deadly challenge is lead poisoning. Bald eagles often scavenge on carcasses left behind by hunters. If those carcasses contain lead fragments from bullets, the eagles may ingest the metal, leading to poisoning. Lead poisoning remains one of the leading causes of eagle mortality today. Collisions with man-made objects. Expanding development brings new hazards: cars, wind turbines, and especially power lines. Collisions with these objects can injure or kill eagles, especially juveniles. Habitat pressure. Urban growth and resource extraction continue to eat away at wetlands and forests. Eagles need large territories, and as human activity expands, conflicts will rise. Shifting ecosystems may impact eagle prey availability, nesting success, and migration patterns over the long term. Climate change can often cause such shifts in ecosystems where bald eagles live. Despite these challenges, however, the outlook is largely positive. Conservation organizations, wildlife agencies, and communities remain committed to protecting the bald eagle. Programs to reduce lead ammunition use, improve power line safety, and conserve habitat are ongoing. And importantly, public support for the bald eagle remains strong. Americans see the eagle as more than a bird. It's a living emblem of the nation's resilience and ability to adapt. The story of the bald eagle is the story of America's relationship with nature. Once nearly lost to our own actions, the eagle is saved through science, law, and a growing sense of environmental responsibility. Its recovery reminds us that conservation works, that with effort, dedication, and respect for the natural world, we can bring species back from the edge. The bald eagle now soars again across America's skies, a true symbol of freedom, strength, and hope for the future. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wildlife stories.